Bom dia, boa tarde, boa noite, or whatever the case may be. My name is Marcus, and I am the host of the Black Brazil Today YouTube channel, as well as the blackbraziltoday.com blog, where I analyze Brazil from the perspective of race. So today I want to approach an interview I saw recently with a well-known, longtime Black Brazilian actress named Zezé Motta. Um, I've done a number of articles over the years that, had something to do with Zezé Motta. She was one of the first Afro-Brazilian actresses that I became aware of when I really started digging into the situation of Black Brazilians back in late 99, early 2000. So I want to get directly into the video today. This first part of the video is going to be a preview. And for those of you who want to check out the whole video and my reaction and the full video, I'll invite you to come over to the other side and watch the full video and its full, the full content of the video. But this will be the preview, the introduction. So today's video, why is he kissing that horrible Black woman? Veteran actress Zezé Motta recalls Brazil's rejection of her on-screen interracial romance. So before I get into this video, I just definitely want to request that you all like this video and share this video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the notification bell. With that said, let me get directly into the video for today. So this is a well-known Brazilian actress named Zezé Motta. So some of the topics that I want to address in today's video are just talking a little bit about who Zezé Motta is, her importance in terms of Afro-Brazilian actresses and the media in Brazil. As I go on with the full video, I'm gonna approach more of a topic that I always talk about: the image of Brazil, its myth of what we call a racial democracy, where all Brazilians live in racial harmony without any type of racial problems that's associated with places like the United States. And then the last thing I'm going to approach is the reactions to interracial unions in Brazil, both in the media, the reaction to these presentations of interracial couples in Brazil's media, whether on television or in film, as well as what happens in people's real lives. Okay, so those are some of the topics I'm going to approach in this video. Okay, these are just some images of Zezé Motta at various times in her career. She's been out since like the 60s, 70s. So she's been in a public spotlight for a number of years. So the name of the video again, why is he kissing that horrible Black woman? Veteran actress Zezé Motta recalls Brazil's rejection of her on-screen interracial romance. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm just going to overdub something that she said in an interview recently. It was a surprise to all of us, the controversy caused by this multiracial couple and the very aggressive posturing. I remember one man saying that he couldn't believe actor Marcos Paulo needed money so badly to go through the humiliation of having to kiss a horrible Black woman. That was the expression, horrible. There was another man who said he would wash his mouth out with, I don't know what, to disinfect it. Anyway, it was very, sad. The issue of race was taboo, right? Something that was very closed off in intellectual discussions, right? In a college here, in a group linked to the Black movement there, it was very closed. So it was very interesting to open it up because I think that this racial discussion is not only of interest to Black people, but to all Brazilians, right? So this is what Zezé Motta had to say about her experience in this 1984 novela. This is what they call soap operas in Brazil. Her experience and the reaction of many Brazilians to seeing a white actor who a lot of people thought he was attractive. He was a well-respected actor. It's like, why did they got him paired up with this Black woman? And the reason why I want to approach this is that Brazil has always presented itself as a place where, race, amalgamation, the mixing of races, interracial unions, children of mixed race couples, it was never supposed to be a big deal. But as I've argued from the very beginning that I started talking about Brazil, is that when you pull the curtain back, it's a lot more complex than what you think. And some of the things that we're taught to believe about Brazil just aren't necessarily so. You know, people will always, ever since I started getting into the Brazilian situation, I would always read comments. People would react to my articles like, you racist Americans, we all mix here. Leave your racist North American attitudes back in the US and leave us alone. And I'm saying, when Brazilians really think about it, if they're honest with themselves, if they talk about the things that they've heard people say within their families, if people talk about their experiences, there's no way you can continue to believe that. It's almost like, this exists, but you just want to deny it, just, I don't know, to protect the image of the country. And particularly in the last, let's say 10, 15 years, the social media era, with so many Black Brazilians talking about their experiences, whether it's just open racism, or whether it's they were rejected by somebody, a white person's family, when they became aware that these two people were dating. So, don't point the finger at Black Brazil today. Black Brazilians have talked about this for a number of years. It's nothing that can be really hidden anymore. But before I get into discussing that, I want to talk a little bit about Zezé Motta. Who is Zezé Motta? And another thing I want to mention is that I had already talked. Zezé Motta has said this in a number of interviews over the years, interviews that are only in print version, or where she said this in a video, an interview that was live, that was recorded in front of a camera. She's told this story numerous times. I have a story. I've talked about this story years ago on the BlackBrazilToday.com blog. And I just wanted to explore it a little bit more, because what she said speaks on so many different scenarios of how race plays out in Brazil, which is, the main topic that I talk about on the blog and on this video channel. So Maria José Motta de Oliveira is known to Brazilian and international audiences as Zezé Motta, a veteran actress of stage, television, and film. Motta is also a singer that has released a number of critically acclaimed albums in her career. Motta, considered one of the country's most important performers, is a Brazilian actress and singer, and is considered a trailblazer for Afro-Brazilian actresses. Zezé has won numerous awards over the course of her career, including the Candango Award and Air France Award and the Grande Prêmio do Cinema Brasileiro, which is Brazil's equivalent to an Oscar. Okay, another photo of Zezé Motta. Motta has been performing in Brazilian television and film since 1968 and 1970, respectively. The actress has appeared in nearly 50 television productions, more than 60 films, and 13 theater productions. This is a cover of one of. I actually have this album on vinyl. Zezé Motta, Negritude, mid 70s. I would say this album came out. Maybe. Well, okay. I see it's 1978. I love this album. Zezé Motta, when she was singing, I've talked about this in several other videos. She's one of the Brazilian singers who fought to be able to sing whatever music she wanted to sing, because, as I've said in numerous videos, Brazil's music industry wants to keep Black men and women singers in the area of samba. You're Black, you're supposed to sing samba, is the attitude. And Zezé Motta, she was one of the singers that I highlighted in this particular book, where Black Brazilian female singers were just explaining the difficulties of their career by Brazil's music industry wanting to just keep them stereotyped and, sequestered off into just the samba category when they want to sing all types of music. So Zezé Motta had some good music back, and I don't know what she's released as of late, but I have a couple of her albums from the 70s, really good music. So as I'm saying, as if that weren't enough, Motta has also released more than a dozen albums. So these are just some images from different points of her career. She's done 50 and 60 films and television series. So there's no way I can cover her whole career here, but I want to just talk about a few of the highlights. Like, I became aware of Zezé Motta from the 1976 film Chica da Silva, where she played, I think it's from either 17th or 18th century Brazil, sometime in the slave period, where it was a Black woman who had a relationship with, I think, a diamond producer. And because of her relationship with this white man, she had some power at the time. So this story has been told both in film and in, I think, maybe 2 different novellas presented. The story of Chica da Silva is based on a real story. Then you have the 1984 Quilombo film. Quilombo, the film, it talks a lot about quilombos, runaway societies where runaway or fugitive Brazilian slaves would create their own societies, and the Portuguese and Brazilian constant attacks to destroy these communities. Okay. In some ways, it's, we look at a lot of series in Brazil that are based in the slave era. And this is one of the best ones that talked about how these Black Brazilians mounted one of the biggest slave quilombos, quilombo, maroon society of former, of fugitive slaves at the time. Okay. Then you have this novella called A Próxima Vítima. This was the first Brazilian novella that presented Black Brazilians in a middle class setting, and this is from 1995. You can say Brazil. We always say Brazil is running behind in terms of the advancements of Black Brazilians in comparison to Black Americans. And we go back to the 1970s. What is it, 1973, 74, when the Jeffersons popped up? A solidly middle class Black family. It took another 20 some years for this to happen in Brazil. Then we have O Nó do Diabo. I think you translate it as the devil's knot. It's kind of like a take on a horror film. This is Zezé Motta right here. You have Zezé Motta in I forget what year this came out, but M8. I think it's When Death. It's called Quando a Morte Socorre a Vida, which means When Death Rescues Life. This is one of the films by a prominent Black Brazilian director, Jefferson D. And so I haven't seen the vast majority of Motta's work, but the appearances that I most remember are the 1976 film Chica da Silva, 2017 film O Nó do Diabo, the 2019 film M8, Quando a Morte Socorre a Vida, 1984's Quilombo, and the 2000 documentary A Negação do Brasil, or Denying Brazil, which talks about the stereotypical roles that Black Brazilians played in Brazil's highly successful novellas, or soap operas, as we would call them. In 1995, Motta appeared in the novella A Próxima Vítima, which portrayed the first Black Brazilian middle-class family. So then who are these women here? This is Leia Garcia. This is Ruth de Souza. And this is Xavier. What is her last name? Chica Xavier is her name. Then you have Zezé Motta here. You have Leia Garcia again and Ruth de Souza. Motta is generally considered among the 3 or 4 most important Black Brazilian actresses, along with Ruth de Souza, Leia Garcia, and Chica Xavier. De Souza passed away in 2019 at the age of 98. Xavier died in 2020 at the age of 88, while Garcia passed away just last year at the age of 90. I covered that story. Motta will complete 80 years on June 27th of this year. So why am I talking about Zezé Motta today? Based on the interview that she did that I wanted to bring to my followers. In 1984, she was paired with actor Marcos Paulo in the soap opera Corpo a Corpo, which caused controversy on and off of the television screen. In the soap opera, Zezé portrayed Sonia, a young architect who was the daughter of Antonio, and Jurema, which was played by Ruth de Souza, who I just mentioned, a middle-class Black family. She meets Claudio, played by the actor, this guy here, Marcos Paulo, the son of a wealthy businessman. Alfredo Fraga Dantas, played by Hugo Carvana, and they have an intense romance, but the architect suffers discrimination from his family. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the full format video here. So if you want to stick around to find out everything that I'm going to talk about and how this novella speaks volumes about Brazilian society, then stick around and follow me over to the other side, where I unpack a whole lot of, put this in more context for why I'm talking about this story today. So with that said, I'm going to end this preview part of the video and request that you all come back, come over to the other side and check out the full format of the video.